Hello, welcome to Merkel Natural Resource Management Area. My name is August Hagen. I'm currently a Maryland Conservation Corps service member here at Merkel. And today, since it might be difficult for some of us to get out to state parks, we thought we'd bring state parks to you with this Maryland Park Service Virtual Ranger experience. Welcome inside the Frank Oslo Visitor Center here at Merkel. As you can see, this is the area where we keep some of the reptiles who are all part of the Scales and Tails program for the Maryland Park Service. And today I have the pleasure of introducing to you my good friend, Benji. Now, Benji might look pretty familiar to some of you guys. Does anybody have any idea why? That's right, Benji here is actually the mascot for Maryland University. Additionally, he's also our state reptile. Now, Benji's a northern diamondback terrapin, and you can tell from the pattern on his back how he gets that name. Maryland is actually a fantastic place to find northern diamondback terrapin habitat. That's because these turtles generally live in salt or brackish water. In fact, northern diamondback terrapins are the only turtles in the United States who can live their entire lives in brackish water. Now, the Chesapeake Bay, being the largest estuary in the United States, as well as the Atlantic coast of Maryland, means that there's tons of viable habitat for these turtles to find food, shelter, and water in. Just like this wetland right behind me. Now, what is an estuary, you may ask? Well, an estuary is a partially enclosed body of water, and in the Chesapeake's case, it's where salt water from the ocean mixes with fresh water from rivers and streams in order to form what we call brackish habitat. For better or worse, oftentimes northern diamondback terrapin habitat coincides with areas that are highly desirable for human recreation. And oftentimes this means they come into conflict with people. Now, historically, these turtles were over-harvested for food markets in the United States, and as a result, almost became extinct at one point in time. Thankfully, these days, very few states actually allow for harvesting these turtles, but they do still fall victim to things like being trapped in crab pots as bycatch, collisions with cars or boats, and habitat loss. Now, thanks to conservation efforts by people like you and me, it is illegal to harvest our state reptile here in Maryland, and thankfully, their populations are slowly on the rise here. Now, it's always important to remember that any action we take has a lasting effect on the environment around us. But it's equally as important to remember that any conservation efforts you or I take, even from the comforts of our own home, can really go a long way to helping little creatures here like Benji recover. Benji and I would just like to say thank you for joining us on this Maryland Park Service Virtual Ranger experience. We hope you've enjoyed this one and hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.